Welcome to the last lecture of this module. In this lecture, what we are going to work upon is we have already seen what is a full wave bridge rectifier. So now we are going to see what happens when I add a filter to this rectifier and analysis and selections of components that are required for various type of filters that we can talk about. So coming back to this diagram that we already spoke about, if I have a charger in my hand, my input is normally around 200 volts, 50 hertz. And my output that I want over here is somewhere around 5 volts and 0 hertz, or basically I want to convert an AC signal to a DC signal. We have finished talking about a transformer and a rectifier, and this is the output that I have got from a full wave rectifier. We've spoken about two types of full wave rectifier, center tap and bridge rectifier. Either ways, this is the output that you get, and now what we are going to talk about is a filter. So now, filter is an electronic component that is composed of either capacitors, inductors, or a combination of both of these reactive elements, and is placed after the rectifier and before the load so as to convert your signal that looks something like this into a signal that is more closer to your DC signal. So the different types of filters that we have are, you've got capacitor filter, which is also known as a C filter, inductor filter, which is known as an L filter. You've got L section filter, which is also known as LC filter. CLC or pi section filter, this is known as a pi section filter because you've got capacitor, inductor and capacitor, therefore CLC or a pi section filter. And you have something known as a CRC filter, where instead of this inductor you will have a resistor placed. In your syllabus you have got capacitor filter and L section filter, so we will not be discussing CLC filter and CRC filter. The first filter that we are going to talk about is capacitor filter. Now if I look at this part of my circuit is your half wave rectifier. So if this is your input, the waveform that is shown in blue, this dotted blue waveform is the output of your half wave rectifier, and I have a capacitor that is placed ahead, which is known as a smoothing capacitor. So if you know how a capacitor works, a capacitor basically stores energy. When it is storing energy, it charges and then it discharges when there is no energy available. And normally, if you remember how the capacitor works, the charging is much more faster than the discharging, or the discharging is very slow. So it discharges slowly. So if I look at what is happening over here, initially when I'm rising from 0 volt above, my capacitor will start charging. It charges, it charges, it charges till it reaches this maximum value. Once it has reached this maximum value, now your input, the signal that I have at the output of my half wave rectifier is decreasing. So my capacitor has more charge. It will slowly start discharging. Now when it starts discharging, it discharges really slowly. So this is how it discharges till it reaches this point. Now when it has reached this point, the output of your half wave rectifier is higher than the charge in the capacitor. So the capacitor starts charging again and then again discharges, charges again and then again discharges. So the output that you get is going to look something like this. This is what is happening in a half wave rectifier. Now if I look at a full wave rectifier, irrespective of whether I take a center tap transformer rectifier or you take a full wave bridge rectifier, your output is going to be the same. Now before we reach the full wave rectifier, there is a term that we need to discuss, which is known as ripple factor. Ripple factor is the amount of ripple that you have in the output. It is denoted by gamma and it is equal to 1 upon 2 root 3 FCRL. So you can refer any reference book to find out how this is derived, but your gamma basically depends on the frequency, capacitor and the load resistor that is connected in your circuit. For your waveform to be as close as DC as possible, this gamma should be as low as possible. Okay, so now if I come to the next circuit, this is what my capacitor filter with a bridge rectifier looks like. So you've got the same waveform. Initially your capacitor is going to start charging till it reaches the maximum value. Now your output from the full wave rectifier is decreasing, so your capacitor starts discharging, At this point, your output of full wave rectifier is higher than that of the capacitor's charge. So your capacitor charges again discharges, again charges. Now when you look at this, you can definitely visually see that the ripple factor over here is less than the ripple factor that you got in a capacitor filter when it was attached to a half wave rectifier. So this ripple factor is given by 1/4√3. So this term that was 2 in a half wave rectifier has now become 4. That is, the ripple factor has improved. This is capacitor filter. Now when I have to go to an inductor filter, if your capacitive element is placed in parallel, whenever you shift to the inductive element, it will be placed in series. The reason being, capacitor as an element is a component that allows AC and stops DC from flowing. How do you know that it stops DC? Because at DC, frequency is equal to 0. Xc is equal to 1/2 pi Fc. If F is equal to 0, Xc will be equal to infinity. So for DC, it is replaced by an open circuit. It will not allow DC to flow. It will allow only AC to flow. Therefore, it allows all the AC to go through. The remaining components go over here. Capacitor is placed in parallel with the load. Inductor, when I draw an inductor filter, is placed in series with the load. Now over here I have not drawn the rectifier part of the circuit. So you can draw a rectifier before this. It is definitely a full wave rectifier, as you can see the waveform shown below. What happens in an inductor? You have XL is equal to 2 pi FL. So an inductor is something that will allow DC to flow and it will stop AC from flowing. So what is happening is it is trying to maintain. So if you look at this waveform is without a filter. But when I look at it with choke filter, so choke filter is basically an inductor filter. It is trying to keep this maintained at this value of VDC, and this value of VDC is 2 by pi VL max. So this is what it is trying to do in an inductor filter. Now when you go ahead and look at what happens in an LC filter, something very similar happens. So when you are using an LC filter, again you've got an inductor, you have got a capacitor along with it. So an inductor is going to allow DC and stop AC. So basically it tries to stop all the AC from going ahead. Whichever AC signal goes ahead, in simple terms, since capacitor allows AC, that AC will go over here. Whatever remaining DC signal is there passes through the resistor and I get an rectified output at my output end. Okay, and the ripple factor for this circuit is given by 1/6√2 omega square L into C, where L is the value of your inductor in henries and C is the value of your capacitor in farads. So this is what basically happens in a filter. So if you've got a capacitor filter, value of gamma will be given to you, value of RL will be given to you. You will have to find out the value of the capacitor that you are going to use so that you can build your circuit. Similarly, if you're going to build an LC filter. Now, why are we using LC filters? If you remember the formula for gamma in a capacitor filter, this gamma depended on the value of the load, that is RL. So if RL changed, the ripple factor changed. But my ripple factor should be independent of the load. So if you look at the circuit that you have drawn right now, and you look at the value of gamma, gamma does not have the term RL. So irrespective of the value of RL, gamma depends only on the value of L and C. So if RL changes, gamma will not change. This is the advantage of using an LC filter over using a simple capacitor filter. So these are the two types of filters that you have to study. You've got capacitor filter and you have got an LC filter. This is where we come to an end of module 1. In module 1, you have studied everything that you need to know about a diode. We started with the operation of a diode. Actually, we started with the construction of a diode, went ahead to operation and then drew the characteristics. The next thing that we studied were Clipper circuit, and the last things that we have studied is how a rectifier is made. What is a full wave rectifier? How do you use a full wave rectifier with and without filters? What is the difference when I've added a filter to my rectifier circuit, and what exactly is ripple factor, and how do you select components to create a filter? Which component is placed in series and which component is placed in parallel? I'm hoping that you understood everything about diodes that we've studied till now, because diodes play a primary role in any device that you are going to study. The next device that we are going to study is a bipolar junction transistor. So you can take some time, try and revise everything that you've studied in diodes till now, and we'll get back when we start with this next module, that is on BJT.